people always ask, which I don't know if it's going to be a question, but people always ask, was there ever a time where she was like, "Hey, how long are you going to do this?" Because that's a question I get from most comedians. Is they say, what about my girlfriend? Whatever. Which I've said multiple. I think I've said multiple times. If you have girlfriend or boyfriend that is gonna be in the way, then it just, then you got to choose. So either you're not gonna make it, or that's not gonna work out, and you got to choose. And that's this is a thing that's commitment. Something I talk about all the time. I think we're lucky for every single person that listens to this podcast. I'm extremely lucky that they choose to listen to what I have to say. And I have to go perform with that gratitude every time to them. And it's never lost on me. They could easily walk away, and rightfully so. I don't deserve them. I haven't earned it. Like I work for them basically. And so if anybody doesn't have that mentality, and you're just gonna be like, "Wow, Sundays and Mondays, my girl just wants me to watch a movie." It's like, then enjoy not making it, because you're not giving it. You're not, sacrifice. You got to make sacrifices to hopefully live a life that no one gets to live. So that's what you get to do, and so you got to do that. And you only. I feel like one time, I thought it was. You said, "Well, how long would you do it if?"
I think it was about being in New York, and I saw like a lot of New York comedians just performing in New York and kind of like getting in a little bit of a comfortable spot.
Mm,
And I thought, well, how many years would you just perform in New York and not actually start kind of to branch out and tour? Because I just didn't want to be in New York that long because I was like, oh God, this place, it kind of
hmm
starts to wear on you a little bit. And we were broke at that point, and New York's not that fun if you don't have some spending cash. Probably have lots of stories about being broke in New
What were you
York.
doing for a living?
So, I was in marketing, so I did a bunch of kind of small marketing jobs, and then someone gave me I saw an ad in a paper, and it was for an event planner. So that's really what I just saw this job, and I was like, that's what I want to do. And I got hired. And past that, I was golden because it was a travel job and I had my own fun, and it was late, late nights. And so I didn't ever have to like wait on him to get home or anything because I had my own thing going on.
Laura's independent. She can kind of be alone.
Yeah.
She's fine with being alone, which I think is another great quality if you have a job like
Yes.
this, is find a partner that can be by themselves,
Yes.
because they're going to be by themselves a lot. I see that a lot. Like a lot of people, like their girls or their boyfriend, it's like they want to be like, no, they want to be around all the time. And you're like, it really can't be that. But just because everybody's going to be a little different, if you're like, hey, my girl's here, and then you're like, okay. And then you go start talking about comedy, and they don't care about it like we care about it. And so it's just gonna interrupts the flow. Like there's just times you need to, do like work talk or whatever.
Right.
And so that's a huge quality. Something very underrated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone did ask about Nate's no plan B approach to comedy and said you had to be just as committed as he did. And sounds like you were.
Yeah. Any concern that I had, I kept to myself. Just because I knew it wasn't
I didn't
helpful.
yeah, I never knew you had a concern.
Well, just any like day to day, like, where's this guy? Just any concern, any personal thought. I just knew wasn't helpful. So why say it?
Yeah.
Why bring that up
It's
and kind of discuss
yeah.
like details that either may or may not come true. So
Right.
just drop it and see where it goes. I don't get credit for that either, I don't think.
Yeah. For not saying anything ever.
For just like
He just found out.
Yeah.
letting it happen,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, well, Laura also is someone that doesn't change much.
Yes.
So if wherever we were at, she could kind of be she's never going to go, I don't want to do this anymore. She just kind of does it. And then when I'm like, we're changing, we moved to California, it's like she just went with that. And then after 2 years there, I mean, even moving back here, I feel like I had to convince her. And she wanted to move back here. And I'm like, we're moving home. Like that should be the most exciting thing ever.
I don't think so. I think I was like, yes, what time are we packing?
Yeah.
I'll take it. Because we also had enough money to like put a down payment on a house finally here.
Yeah.
Versus California, we were saving.
Yeah. She's a
And
big saver.
I was
Yeah.
saving for a house.
Yeah.
But then when you said Nashville, I was like, oh, done. Cool.
Yeah.
She and Michael Clay, big savers.
Big save.
Big savers. They
Yeah,
both came.
You're welcome during COVID.
Yes, she did saving. She always had money. She's the one that had money. If we had, I mean, because I was making nothing at the,
Yeah, I worked at a hedge fund actually in New York City. And so when they offered me the bonus, a hedge fund bonus, I was like, what? That's more money than I've ever made. Just the bonus.
she got let go because of the 2008 financial.
market.
crash.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, was in the job that she had was
Mhm.
just over.
How
And-
long you been in New York when that happened?
I was there 4
2
years. She
years.
was there 2.
Mhm.
And then I remember comedy did really good during that time.
Oh.
I did a lot of shows. We did a
Yeah.
ton of shows 'cause people wanted to go out and laugh. It was just a sad time. Comedy does really good during bad times.
It's a pretty cheap
It's
source
cheap,
of entertainment.
right.
You know?
and people want to laugh.
It's cheaper than a movie most of the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's a good time. Like people don't think about it enough. I've heard
Yeah.
it time and time again that people go to Zanies and they're like, why don't I do this all the
Yeah.
time?
yeah,
Because they have fun with their friends or girlfriends or a first date. That's probably
yeah.
a really great first date. Because if your girlfriend or boyfriend doesn't laugh,
Right.
or depending on what they laugh at, you could be like, this person's not for me.
How often were you going to shows in New York?
Me,
Of Nate's shows? Yeah.
once in a while. I
Yeah.
didn't really.
I think I wish you would have came more now when I think about it. But when you're there, you're just, I mean, I'm running around.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm doing 5 shows a night. And so it is, you get off the train, 7 p.m. is my first show, and I'm not going to be done till 1 a.m. And you're going right when I get off stage, you're like, all right, good night. And you're like, all right, I'll be back for the second show. And then I'm hopped in a cab or running to the next club. And then I walk in there and you're like, and then you go up and you do your 15 minutes. And then you're like, all right, I got to go. And then, so it's so if she did come, she'd sit at like the
Yeah,
club I
would
was going to be
come-
at last.
I would come on the weekends because obviously I had to work, and then stay at one place, and he could.
Yeah, like
go. And there would
Jay's,
be other
Carla,
wives. Yeah,
yeah.
there would be other wives or girlfriends there who were super fun and hang out with them. And then
She was the only consistent one.
Yeah.
what?
I feel
Oh,
like the only consistent girl there.
Carla.
Carla was there.
Carla
yeah.
was there for a while.
Big J's ex-wife, and then but the Carla, so you would hang out with Carla a lot. So
A
you
lot
would,
because
yeah.
she was our neighbor too.
Yeah.
They found our apartment. I'm sure you've told that story.
I don't think
Yeah.
we have actually. On the
I thought he did
think so.
about
Yeah, they
Big J left a message for
Yeah,
your
that's a
mom.
message from my mom. Hello, is this Nate?
Oh,
Yeah.
Is this Nate Bargatze's mother? And we're in Mexico on our honeymoon with no phone. My mom's like, oh no. And then he goes, oh no, it's Jay.
Yeah.
He's like, we found an apartment. It's right, and
And they were great. She's an awesome cook and he's a lot of fun. Obviously, we're best friends.
Yeah.
He's my best comedy friend.
Yeah, he's him and Laura, because we had Dan Soder and Jay do a show, Bonfire, and they called one day to see, they go, who's Laura closer to? And it's Jay. I mean, Jay was just there. Soder wasn't there
He was
yet.
across the street. I mean,
And he was across the
literally.
street. Yeah. And Soder's very close to us, but Jay and Laura have just been forever.
And Jay was married at the
Yeah.
time. He had a child, which I loved her. And
Yeah,
so
Isabella.
it just clicked more.
Yeah.
You know, they were more my speed. I was not out being a crazy person drinking all the time.
Yeah.
What does Jay call you?
Lar bar.
Laura Barr.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jay took her to the hospital.
Yeah, we've had a lot of moments.
She got when
He takes care of me.
yeah, I was
You were out of town.
was
You
out of
were here
town.
in Nashville, and I was dying. Gas overdose.
we had a gas leak in our apartment, and she slept there all night and then had to go to the hospital.
I started throwing up.
Started throwing
And my
up.
mom was like, get out of the house, get out of the house. And I was like, Jay, are you home? Can you take me to the hospital? And Carla said, don't take her anywhere but Long Island Jewish. And so he took me all the way out to Long Island to that hospital. And I was okay. I'm
Yeah.
still alive.
Yeah, I remember calling him, and he was like there. And I thought I was in Cleveland for some reason.
You were here.
Yeah. All right.
It was
And
almost
then-
Christmas. I had to work and then come home after.
Yeah. And then, he took her to the hospital. Yeah, it's crazy. And then with that lady, so in apartments in New York, if people don't know, it'd be 3 family homes. It's basically a town home, and it's broken up into 3 families. So your living room space would be, so our bedroom would be someone's living room technically, and then we had a den area. It was a nice apartment, and then the upstairs, so they just break them up, and so we would control the heat and air conditioning for the entire. The thing was in our apartment, so you could only so if someone got hot or cold, they would have to ask us to do it. So there's a gas leak, and the lady, how she handled the gas leak was to lock the box and then give the key to the neighbor, like almost like we were the one that messed the gas
Like I
leak up.
tried to kill myself.
Like she tried to do it, and so they didn't trust her. And then that guy just gave us the key. He was like, "This doesn't even
Yeah.
make sense."
Mm.
And so yeah, and we had a guy that was a bit of a drinker that lived below us for a while, and he had a big problem.
I don't remember.
Remember him? He would throw up. You would hear him
I
every
do
morning.
remember him.
He was like a construction worker. He was like just a real
I
union
remember
guy.
him.
Yeah.
And I mean, would come home loud, drunk, 2 a.m.
Yes.
And then every morning you'd hear him just throwing up,
Mm.
To go
and
to
then he'd go
work.
back to work. Just and you're like,
Ah.
golly, the life that guy lived. Like, because you could open our door, and there's these stairs that would go to his front
Just
door,
like a basement.
and so it's like you could just hear it, and it was just every morning. It's like, "Ugh,
Just
ugh,
hung
ugh."
over every morning.
I mean, every morning,
Wow.
just like
Mm.
having to, at like 6 or 7 in the morning, he's got to get
Yeah.
up early.
Ugh,
Yeah, yeah,
man, that's crazy.
yeah.